Welcome to the free audio rendering of Not Without Scars 2. Such an insightful and impactful work must be accessible to the countless number of people living similar life experiences. Becoming a best-selling author pales in comparison to creating a tool capable of instilling hope in the multitude of people trapped in the valley of decision. My greatest profit comes in helping others emerge victorious over their life struggles. My goal is to encourage individuals to follow their dream. My message: you must never quit on your faith, pursuing your aspiration or vision. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take a moment, invite your family, friends and acquaintances, and enemies to listen to this work chapter by chapter. It is free to listen as well as free to subscribe. Peace, love, and phenomenal blessing.
How do I write my life story? I know hurt and pain. I don't like either one, whether physical or emotional. Herein contains my story, Not Without Scars, Part 2. Optimism, perseverance, persistence, resilience. 2 decades of personal struggle. Optimism. I faced the new millennium with hopefulness. Perseverance. My ego, my humble beginnings, my desire to achieve never allow me to turn away from a difficult task. Persistence. Opposition should be anticipated as an effective strategy to victory surfaces. Resilience. Difficulties do not automatically spell termination. Scars reveal my imperfection as reminders of past episodes of pain, sorrow, or triumph. Scars can tell beautiful story endings or relay misery that wishes to remain anonymous. This work is meant to help others who have experienced decades of struggle. When struggles appear to never end, you must get through the night and face the challenge of a new dawn with fresh hope.
Section 3, 2006-2007, Persistence. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. A change is gonna come. Sam Cooke. Persistence, firm or obstinate in a course of action in spite of a difficulty or opposition. A challenge will always ignite a fire in me, but not as in a competitive ordeal. It had to be something that was beneficial as well as of interest. Once these two criteria were aptly satisfied, my determination would be undeniable. My efforts would be fueled by a creative flow to accomplish successfully the undertaking. In addition, each initiative undertaking I viewed as another opportunity to advance my knowledge base. I stand firm in my faith and ability. I fully grasp what is in my capacity to achieve. Difficulties should not serve as a reason to falter, but as an incentive to appraise my goal. Opposition should be anticipated so that an effective strategy to victory surfaces. Chapter 11, The Race Against the Inevitable. Introduction. Unfortunately, my knowledge of how law enforcement agencies work was quite extensive. The federal agency worked most methodical. They had the time and resources. Over the years, they cultivated an astounding image that frightened people by their presence. The assumption was clear. If the state or local authorities could not build a case, then you must have done something extremely bad for the federal government to come after you. Various individuals began sharing directly and indirectly the chatter about FBI agents asking questions about CAMST and ultimately related to me. It was part of psychological manipulation. Some may say the tightening of the screws. The more people who were questioned, the broader the potential for a conspiracy case. In essence, the more people felt they were threatened, the more likely they would cooperate or buy into whatever script was presented to them. The clear signal came to me when I asked the treasurer of CAMPS for financial records. She indicated that she had already turned them over to state authorities without them being audited. This was the time that the FBI made a decision who would be the chief target and who would be the key witnesses to assist in securing conviction. I had to work as diligently as possible to secure some financial stability. Whispers was indeed getting louder, paraphrasing a 1960s hit by Jackie Wilson. The more I did not know became greater assurance that a major criminal investigation was underway. It was difficult to determine who would be the principal target. I held the highest profile of those associated with camps. When I was a street hustler, the FBI was sympathetic to so-called white-collar criminals. When I became an executive and entrepreneur, the sympathetic focus of the FBI shifted from white-collar criminals more so toward the street crime. More press cover would be garnered for a political trial than another drug case. My timing was totally off kilter. I had not set out to ever appear as a defendant in another criminal proceeding. I had been chosen as volunteer of the year in multiple prisons across the nation. I had been summoned numerous times to speak up on behalf of defendants. To find me in a race with the FBI was beyond my comprehension. It was illogical to think that I would deliberately throw my life away for the small sum of money that was involved in camps. Evidently, the dollar amount that I consider small held life-altering sum to others around me. King Solomon had it right. The race is not to the swift, but he who endures to the end. I adjusted my thoughts to brace myself for the marathon of life. I could never stop running this race of life. Historical. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Henry David Thoreau. Overcomers do not fade at adversity. No matter what else may invade my space, I retain my desire to rise above circumstances of a negative nature. I have always practiced observance of my environment. This may have its origin in survival instincts. The goal of life has a premier directive: living. All that goes into making life comfortable, enjoyable, and peaceful are additions. Happiness, love, and resources may arrive or may permanently escape the grasp. One has to learn how to define all these issues within their own context. My fullness potential propels me. Nothing forever eludes my grasp. I believe in a limitless capacity as the impetus to achieve. Some may call it faith. Monumental achievements have come my way as I refuse to sit idle. Because I do not possess all that I had previously dreamed of, I did not this to provide for an excuse for me to venture into fresh endeavors. My motor skills and mental capacity serve as an effective engine fueled by a bountiful imagination that harnesses the most vivid ideas into a practical and obtainable package. Difficulties only fuel my imagination. I continue to serve the congregation and renovate the building. My personal trials never get in the way of my working for the greater good of the multitude. I cannot possibly teach others to overcome adversity if I await a smooth path before I reach for miraculous occurrences. In the midst of the multiple initiatives, I usually uncover the resources, the wisdom, and the energy to make impossible feats part of my ordinary achievements. Living is a daily, moment by moment, breathing episode. It happens without a lot of concentration on the timing of the next breath. I cannot be dismissed as some illusionary thinker who chooses metaphysical faith to serve as an escape from reality. Choosing to actively think rather than allow situations to dictate what I can or cannot do, who I am or who I cannot become, permits me to retain a healthy mental attitude and a sound faith engagement. My destiny will never rest in the hands of others. Whether these individuals represent institutions or simply envious motives, life has revealed that many afflictions set themselves in corrective position. These corrective positions are personal one-on-one lessons, very painful and extremely sensitive. These correction plants are the essential, exponential occurrences that separate the precious ideals from the worthless time-consuming actions. In order to rise above adversity, you have to face the issue. Even in the absence of an immediate resolution, I refuse to crumble when the odds seem more than I can possibly overcome. Faith becomes of faith becomes of paramount importance. It is the practice of the unseen that serves as the vehicle to sustain me until the timing and the right channels appears. Meanwhile, a cave experience will be filled with souls who need to be built up and encouraged to seek a personal triumph. There have been many times that I would have loved to withdraw from having a connection with the lives of others, but I have never had that luxury. Wherever there exists hurting humanity in my presence, my calling, my nature, my personality will never allow me to observe and do nothing when I can offer a small degree of hope as well as a clear direction to victory. The pathway to my ultimate destiny is to see beyond my current plight and think bigger than what exists before me. Even in a race with the opposition positioned to win, I will run with all intensity as if the outcome was still mine to lay hold. I shall never give up, give out, or give in to any force that would rob me of my destiny and my heart's desires. Social Black experience. Life is not a spectator sport. If you're going to spend your whole life in the grandstand just watching what goes on, in my opinion, you are wasting your life. Jackie Robinson. Challenges must be faced. I cannot forget my blackness as a male living in America. Even without a visible mirror, my soul reflects who I am, and my spirit supplies the special strength needed to confront each day. There is no escaping the assignment of my ethnic identification. An illusion of naivety shall only grant a momentary or fictive escape. The awakening will come, whether by personal internal mechanism or through external realization experiences. Contingency plans are meant to shed light on an alternative to secure a positive outcome after initial positions are no longer sustainable. I suppose within my soul, I feel that my spirit will fill any void in the midst of crises with viable options that produce a vaunted outcome for me. In spite of the chaos, confusion, or the appearance of hopelessness, I cling to faith to retain my mental capacity. If I can see what is going on, I can come up with a counter to whatever appears as an impediment to stymie my advancement. Once I can observe and make an assessment of the situation, I can commence the proactive step to set in place the necessities for a bright future. Once a sister who was cleaning the sanctuary called to say an FBI agent came looking for me. I knew the race was in the sprinting stage. He left his card for me to call. I first called my friend Roger Sennenberg, an attorney. My call to the FBI agent was to inquire if this matter of interest was civil or criminal. Once the acknowledgement of criminal identification, I faced the reality of my race against the inevitable clash with the United States government. Challenges do not go away due to wishful thinking. They have to be dealt with, whether one is ready for the match or not. This was a very painful and stressful time. Such tense moments have brought me to the place of consistency in my character. My personality and character configuration would be tested. Painful episodes come in waves whenever the opposition has all the ammunition. I have gained over the years a high tolerance for pain as well as an extraordinary quantity of sensitivity. This combination of salient factors has produced an undeniable spirit of resilience in spite of a preponderance of negative events. Theological. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 11, King James Version. Run with determined faith toward your destiny. I have gone down the road of challenges so many times. I understand the weapons of the believer's warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. However, I know the repercussions of a battle will inflict physical wounds. I have the wounds in both my physical and spiritual existence. I have scars to prove the battles are not always winnable without some visible sign of the conflict. Emotional wounds can have a long-lasting effect upon one's psyche. Battles are often relived and recalled in the mind many days past the ordeal. Discerning the differences between a battle and a war serves as the most crucial element in the struggle for longevity and peace coinciding in the individual's life. I have this especially true on my path in pursuit of happiness, joy, and love. I appreciate the chronological aging process. Divine providence has been good and kind to me in the physical realm. Excellent health under some of the most difficult of conditions, poverty and prisons, makes me incredibly thankful. I chose many years ago the plant-based diet before it became trendy. I made exercise a key part of my life before gyms were so readily accessible. And faith has played an astounding role in my overall development as a compassionate person. My race, life, as well as ethnicity, has been filled with episodes of pain and suffering. Some self-inflicted. Other times I have been ambushed by snipers perched high above my vision. I have not survived solely because of my strength, and certainly not based upon my wisdom. I realize timing has played a most decisive role in what course my feet have had to trod. In all these things, I have chosen to run with all my power toward my destiny, which limits the control current plights may deliver along my sojourn. My journey is not to where human institution would charter as a course for me, but rather I plow through the hazards to a higher calling, my destiny along the way. I am refueled by serving others. Wherever I can find myself, I take a moment to plan for the next stage of my existence. I will take what is before me as the face value for my life. Due to my faith that has been determined as my destiny, I run toward my destiny with every bit of strength in every fiber of my being, spiritual and natural.